Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Off Label Podcast, your daily dose of sanity in an insane world. Look, it's just going to be me tonight because Davey's taking a little bit of family time, and I'm not going to blame him for it. But what I will do is, if you guys remember Members Only, kind of got a little bit heated and it got really intense. We're not done yet, apparently. This is just going to be a continuance of this, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all remember the Loudoun County kid? You know, the boy in the skirt that anally raped that girl in a bathroom. Yeah. We need to take it back to Loudoun County now because apparently it is sexual harassment for boys to raise concern because a female who wants to be a boy records them in their locker room. We got to get into this shit, ladies and gentlemen. We also got to talk about there are 3 Democrats that have been taken off the impeachment thing. They say they were misled. We gotta follow this. This is going to be great. We also got the DEA actually arrest 114 immigrants inside a nightclub in one move. Nashville itself, on the little Chiron, you'll see it. Nashville themselves got raided as well. ICE ain't fucking around, ladies and gentlemen. And neither are we, so let's go ahead and get started, shall we?
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you can get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless.
So a nonverbal autistic kindergartner was going to school, and ever since school started, all she would do when she would come home is cry for hours, and this wasn't like her. And the mom was like, there has to be something going on while she's at school because something has distinctly changed. She called the school and they're like, we have no idea what's going on. 3 days later, a teacher catches another teacher in the restroom with this little girl kissing her. Nonverbal autistic kindergartner. So the school did call the mom and let the mom know what had just happened, but they didn't fire the teacher. They removed the teacher from that specific class, but they just transferred the teacher to another class. How much other stuff had happened before this, we're never gonna know, because like the mother said, she can't tell her side of the story. She'll never be able to. She can't defend herself. She cannot speak up for herself. Just in case any of you were wondering, this is the name of the school, Blythe Elementary School in Huntersville, North Carolina. And if any of you would like to let them know how this makes you feel, this is their contact information. I think they've already made it entirely clear where they stand on protecting their students, so maybe we could let them know how we feel about that. So,
Before y'all say anything, I'm just going to say this. I don't give a shit that he actually blasted the school and everything like that. That has to actually be done now. It has to be done. This is going way too far. We're going to take it back to Loudoun County here in a second. That wasn't the lead-in story. It was going to be the 3 Democrat thing. But I came across this and I was, Rick threw it to me and I was just like, whoa, hold on. We're going back to the same area, ladies and gentlemen. But before we do that, I want to say, hey, how you doing, Shay? Shane? Shane's in the house. Link, question everything. Joe Vog, wood chipper. Bruce Rice. Let's see. We got Muffin in the house. Jennifer, Rick Donner, Harley's dad. How you doing? Dictatorship. Lenny Malley. Let's see. Carolyn's in the house. How you doing, Carolyn? I love Carolyn. She's like my grandma. Then I got Rhonda. What's up, Ken? How you doing? Let's see. We got Be the One over there on Rumble. Look, I'm sorry, Rumble. I don't care if you put links, but you got to talk before you do that. Stop with that, please. Let's go ahead. We got, what was it? Dobaqua? Those Becky's over there on Rumble 2. Ladies and gentlemen, look. Let's take this back. Back to a moment in time where there ain't a single person on this earth that would not be pissed at this situation. All right? Loudoun County. Let's take it back to Blaze Media for this one. Boy in skirt who assaults girl in Loudoun County schools avoid jail after victim's family asks judge to get him help. The 15-year-old boy in a skirt who sexually assaulted two classmates in different Loudoun County, Virginia high schools will be sent to a juvenile treatment facility after the parents of one of his victims asked the judge to get him help rather than incarcerate him. He will also be registered as a sex offender. The teen, who was not identified in news reports because he is a minor, was found responsible for one felony count of forcible sodomy and one felony count of forcible fellatio on May 28th incident at Stonebridge High School in Ashburn. The teen was also found responsible of a felony count of abduction and a misdemeanor count of sexual battery in a second assault with a different victim at Broad Run High School on October 6th. That's right. If y'all remember this story, this kid anally raped a girl. The school tried to cover it up. The father was pissed at that school board meeting. The cops hauled him off, and they called him a terrorist for it. Wait a minute. I got to go back here. Bruce Rice, thank you for the 20 gifted subs. All right. We got No Jabski, Cindy Detour, Don Golf, Joan the Homesteader. Just Don's in the house with us now. AB, Stephen 5, Boom Shakalaka, Brandy Coffee, Dora Mahat, Howie Brown. We got Ray with us now. Gordon Tracy, Goofy for Jesus, Lady of Quills, Carl Peterson, Concerned American, Tiny Boy, Madman, and Mel. Appreciate the fuck out of that, Bruce. That was awesome. But getting back to it here, I saw that pop up and I had to grab it while I was talking. But getting back to it here, you know, this was a kid that anally raped that girl. They labeled her father as a domestic terrorist because he got pissed off that the school tried to cover up his daughter's rape. Yeah. The family says, get this child help. Don't lock him up, even though he had done it before. I don't know how to feel about this one because of this. This comes from ABC 7 News. Exclusive. LCPS investigates boys uncomfortable with female students in boys' locker room. Rick, thank you for the gifted membership there. We got Angie Warren coming in as well. And again on Rumble with Be the One. Appreciate you guys. I still got to figure out Rumble's thing. Locals is not going to do it unless we flood that, but fuck. Anyway.
I don't like it.
So
my bad. This comes from, what day was this? May 5th. This is today. Loudoun County Public Schools have opened a Title IX investigation into 3 high school boys who said they were uncomfortable with a female student using the boys' locker room. The Loudoun County School Board policy allows students to use school bathrooms and locker rooms according to their gender identification rather than biological sex. We're concerned, Virginia father told 7 News reporter Nick Minok, I don't know, I'm messing that last name up, about the investigation into his son. The Virginia father told 7 News that LCPS is formally investigating whether his son committed sexual harassment after he and 2 friends talked about being uncomfortable with the fact that there was a male identifying classmate in the boys' locker room. He questioned why there was a female in the male's locker room, the father said. And other boys were uncomfortable with a female in the boys' locker room, he added. There were other boys asking the same question. They, LCPS, created a very uncomfortable situation. They're young, they're 15 years old, they're expressing their opinions, and now they're being targeted for expressing those opinions. The dad said a female student who identifies as male has been using the boys' locker room for some time now. In March, after gym class, the female student used her phone to record his son and his friends in the Stonebridge High boys' locker room. Full stop. So you mean to tell me it's okay for a girl to identify as a boy and then go into the boys' locker room and record because she identifies as a boy? The math ain't math in here. It really isn't. It's okay for them, right? But if I identify as a woman and I go into the girls' locker room and I start recording, is that okay? And if they say anything about it, apparently they're sexually harassing me? Would that work that way? Fuck no. I'm a dude. So because kids are uncomfortable going through puberty, knowing that intercourse in any way is kind of an off situation being so young, you do this? Are y'all expecting more of this to come out? Do you all want this to come out? Never mind the fact that y'all remember when that judge got shot. Davey called it that night. We had that little breaking thing. The judge got shot by by the sheriff. Just walked into his chambers, had a conversation with him for a few minutes, and shot the man dead. Davey fucking called it that night. He said that judge did something. That judge did something to that kid, or that man's kid. Turns out he was right. And apparently now in Loudoun County, if you as a boy, as a male, I guess, would be the thing, a young male, say you're not comfortable with a girl who says she's a boy recording you in the locker room, well, now that's sexual harassment. You may actually go to jail. Or you're definitely going to have that hanging over legally. Even when you cross into adulthood. That's going to be a thing. Because these kids felt uncomfortable with a girl recording them in a locker room. Somehow, because they said anything about it, it is now sexual harassment. Y'all remember when I brought up how in the UK it is now sexual harassment to call a man bald? And how much we've railed against that shit? That's that right here in America. You as a man cannot say you feel uncomfortable with a woman up in your shit where you would get naked. Just randomly. Because she identifies as a dude. What's any different about a man walking into a woman's locker room and starting to record, if that's the case? Huh. All I have to do is say I identify as a woman and go up into Loudoun County and just start recording shit now. Y'all okay with that? What's up, Virginia? What the fuck is this? Loudoun County needs a lot of work because this has gotten disgusting right here. I don't even know what to say other than, I thought maybe Davey would went a little bit over the top in the members only. Seeing this now? No, I don't think he did. I think he had just the right amount of response to that. That's all I'll say. But let's get into the meat and the crux of what's actually really going on here. Just still going to cover with Blaze Media with this one. You know what? No. Hold up. Tell me in the chat, guys. Tell me in the chat. Let's light that chat up. Tell me in the chat. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about children in Loudoun County now going to jail because they feel uncomfortable with somebody of another sex in a room? Like the short wrist picture posted about watching the Watchers. Shout out. I did. I had to. Y'all are great. There's a case out of Michigan. Maybe it's a male in a girl's locker room in the middle school. And the school admin had been forcing the girls to change. I think I remember seeing something about that, Tortuga. But this one, I wanted to bring this one up here because this one was Loudoun County. That was, all right, hold up. Loudoun County father. This dude.
We've been going through this for 2 years.
An emotional Jess Smith as she walks out of the Loudoun County Courthouse, moments after a circuit court judge denied the request to dismiss the case against her husband, Scott Smith.
Enough is enough.
It all stems from this rowdy Loudoun County School Board meeting in June 2021. Scott was dragged and arrested for obstruction of justice and disorderly conduct. A judge dropped the obstruction charge last year. But today, despite his attorney arguing his actions failed to meet the definition of disorderly conduct, the court ruled a jury is best suited to make that decision.
I'll keep fighting this and I will win. But in the meantime, it's just more pain on me and my family.
Defense attorney William Stanley, a Republican Virginia senator, says there is no evidence his client was riling up the crowds, arguing Scott reacted to a woman who aggressively came up to him and threatened to ruin his business. Stanley says Scott had his fist clenched by his legs, leaned forward, and called the woman an expletive, saying, quote, "A threat of a potential battery is not a crime." But Judge James Brown said, "I think it could incite violence."
You know, if we can't stand up and defend our families with our hands at our side and use a loud voice and call somebody a name, what has this country come to?
Smith was in the board meeting after his daughter was sexually assaulted by a teen who went on to sexually assault another student at a different school. Her case and the explosive meeting galvanized the parents' rights movement that swept Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin into office. And since then, Superintendent Scott Ziegler has been fired over how the cases were handled.
We did nothing wrong. All we did was speak out.
Scott Smith is now calling out Governor Glenn Youngkin, saying he has not heard from him despite the controversy garnering national attention. A trial date has now been set for late September.
That man's daughter was assaulted in a school sexually. The kid had previously done it in another school. That school covered that up. A boy in a skirt. Two of these incidents from the same person. The family said, get the man help. Don't lock him up. Get him help. And now 3 kids are looking down sexual harassment because a girl was recording them in the locker room and they felt uncomfortable with that? Yo, Loudoun County's got some problems, ladies and gentlemen. That's some very, very disturbed. Okay. That's very disturbed shit. I'm sorry. I don't know. How could you allow that to happen? How could you do that to children, male or female. I think it's about time for people to get vocal there in Loudoun County about that. I mean, your children can now be violated, sexually assaulted, and fuck it, whatever. Who cares, right? That's your system. That's your taxpayer dollars at work there. But I'm gonna leave that poll up for just a little bit longer while I talk about kind of leading into this situation here, just to give you guys time to vote so you can ring in on that one. We got 3 Democrats asked to be removed from resolution to impeach Trump. 2 of the 3 said that they were under a false assumption about the resolution. 3 Democrats have asked to be removed from a resolution to impeach Trump in a sign that the out-of-power party is retreating from a strategy against the president. Democrats have to conjure up asymmetric attacks on Trump after a disastrous election in which they lost control of the U.S. Senate and Oval Office and only slightly dented Republican control of the U.S. House of Representatives. Despite some very early efforts to mount a campaign to impeach President, 3 Democrats have abandoned the cause for now. Democrat Rep. Sharif Anadar, Michigan, proposed the impeachment, blah, blah, blah.
I don't like
You
this.
son of a... Stop talking. I need to get rid of you altogether. There we go. My mouse is moving over to that screen and I click. On Tuesday, they officially requested the names to be taken off the impeachment proposal, and the House clerk granted their request. A spokesperson from Mr. Mfume said he removed his support because of a mistaken assumption about the proposal. Congressman Mfume removed himself as co-sponsor from HRES 353 because he was made aware it was not cleared by Democrat leadership and not fully vetted legally. And he preferred to err on the side of caution. Hold up. So Mfume just told you, hey, we have nothing to do with this and we don't know if it's legal or not. Rick says, I don't care what you identify as. You don't use a phone to take videos in a locker room where minors are changing, period. Yes. The Congresswoman was under a spokesperson. Yeah, here we go. A spokesperson for Kelly had similar comment. The Congresswoman was under the impression that the resolution was drafted and reviewed by both the House Judiciary Committee and leadership when she originally signed on during a vote series on the floor. How the fuck? Wait. I'm sorry, Congresswoman Kelly. How the fuck do you not know that this shit never went through Judiciary Committee? Because I watched the fuck out of that and I've never heard anything about it. This was a blindside situation, so how the hell did you put your fucking name on it to co-sign this and it didn't go through shit? This is sad, ladies and gentlemen. That leaves Thanadar with only one member supporting his resolution. Democrat Rep. Jans Shawalski. Nadler. Oh. Let me bring it up. I had that little short about it. Let me bring it up. I want you all to hear what Nadler actually said. Which one was it? I'm going to switch my other account. Screw it. Y'all can see it. I don't care. House rules. Where are you? Because this is going to be fun when I track this down for you. Something went wrong. Try again. Okay. Try it again. Thank you. No, it was alive. It was HR 6090. 50878. Yeah, see, y'all can see I actually do watch these things. We'll sit down on one of these lives and watch these things too. 6090. 6690. Hold on. It might be easier to do this. Um, hmm. No, that was in a house. It was in a house. Well, this might be. Hold on. No, I was in a House Rules Committee where this motherfucker actually argued that the word anti-Semitism should be nebulous. It should never have a definition. So that way, in more words than one, that it can just mean whatever the hell I want it to mean. Just like the word, just like the word racism, just like the word woman, just like every other thing that has ever held them back from actually making a real argument, they just changed the wording on it. This motherfucker wanted to make anti-Semitism a nebulous term as well. And it seems to be happening with we got that, what is that, it's that anti-Semitism bill. We also have the what is it, that Muslim one? I don't even remember. I'll have to look that one up too. But we got all those going through here. Our Congress doesn't even need to fucking worry about this. I'm just going to admit that. But yeah, he was sitting there trying to actually argue that it should be a nebulous term. It shouldn't have a definition. And basically, anti-Semitism is whatever the hell we say it is. Basically was his argument. But yeah, he removed his name from it as well. I don't think this is going to go anywhere. Apparently, ladies and gentlemen, this was never vetted. This was never approved, nor did it go through any committee. If it would have, I'd have already heard about it. Damn sure didn't go through House rules. But here we are. I told you. Sharif Thanadar was the throwaway candidate. That was just to get something out there in the news for them, and that was it. Now Thanadar's fucked. All for what? You got your name out there? You got noticed for something that's never going to happen because it was never vetted and went through rules? Went through the judiciary? Went through any of it? You just threw it out on the House floor and said, I want this to happen now? Like, what the fuck? But that's your taxpayer dollars at work too, ladies and gentlemen. That's the people you put into office to represent you. That's what they do. Your taxpayer dollars are going to fucking waste. Meanwhile, they're just getting up all together and saying, hey, we need to impeach him for saying mean things. Push it through. We'll just shove it straight to the House floor. Let him vote. He said mean things. Oh, wait. Yeah, everybody's complaining about how the rules weren't followed in this case. For the people who were saying nobody's above the law, you kind of went above the law, did you not, on that? Shit. But it goes nowhere, ladies and gentlemen. This is done. There is nothing to this. This is just going to be another point in time where everybody be like, oh, he was impeached 3 times. No, the fuck he wasn't. Those articles of impeachment were fucking illegal, actually. So y'all have a nice day. But I will say this. This happened on May 2nd of 2025. Y'all know I don't like the man for personal reasons. He's a dick. He's like me. I don't like him. Opposites attract, not similar. Anyway, Donald Trump calls for Democrats to be removed over impeachment moves. President Donald Trump has suggested Republicans in Congress should start to think about expelling 2 House Democrats for legislature who are pushing a third impeachment vote against him. Trump made the remark on his Truth Social website about Representative Sharif Endador, a Michigan Democrat, blah, blah, blah. Why it matters. Trump was impeached twice during his first term in office. In 2019 on charges of abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. Oh, that was an Adam Schiff kind of thing. Y'all remember that? That was the Russian collusion one where Adam Schiff had said he had irrefutable proof. Lied to you. They didn't do anything about that. They literally just wagged their finger at him and said, y'all are done. Stop. You did bad. That's what a censure is. It's publicly to say you're bad. That's it. I mean, it didn't happen a lot. Now it just happens all willy fucking nilly. But yeah, that's all it is. Anyway, Trump was impeached, blah, blah, blah. 2021 on charge of incitement of insurrection. In both cases, the bids failed to attract the requisite 2/3 support in the Senate, resulting in acquittals. Y'all just knew this was all a fucking game. And if you actually did something like this and people started to realize, you'd have been fucked. And you'd have probably be started the next civil war for that shit. But I'm just going to go ahead and say January 6th. There was 200 fucking people in that crowd through multiple 200. Over 200 FBI, or but not FBI, over 200 agents or informants through various agencies were in the crowd on January 6th and instigating. Over 200 were found in various cases. I'm sorry, it sounds like the federal government set that up to make Orange Man look bad so they could just take over power because insurrection, right? Wouldn't that be sedition, though? I mean, you're trying to violently overthrow the government using people on the other person's side. That would be sedition. But I guess we let that slide, right, America? Industries post, Trump said that the Democrats had got two no-name, little-respected congressmen, total whack jobs, both throwing the impeachment of Donald John Trump around for about the 20th time, even though they have no idea for what I would be impeached. I mean, from what Sharif Thanadar was screaming, no, there was nothing in on it. These motherfuckers actually purposely tank the fucking polls to make it look like he's on a downswing right before they bring up articles of impeachment. We all know the polls are fucked anyway. There's no point even in aggregate anymore because everything's so shifty. Just because somebody just wants it to look good, they make it look good in that kind of situation. I've never been polled in my life. Anyway, we should actually end this poll here. Somebody actually said yes. All right, let's bring the chat back. There we go. Okay. But yeah, I've never been polled in my life for these things. But they purposely tank the fucking polls. Then they bring up these articles of impeachment on him and thinking they're going to do something because America, his polls are down. He looks bad, right? Get him out of here. Bruce, thank you for the $20 sticker. You are amazing. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, I mean, it's always been a ridiculous ploy. Always been. I mean, y'all remember the Stormy Daniels case, right? They let Michael Cohen lie on the stand about lying to Congress and going to fucking prison for it. What the fuck? How does that happen? How does a judge interfere in the case by them? Ariel Angren. Like, I'm glad I didn't get to see what the fucked up shit Chutkin would have brought. But, that shit with Jack Smith. It took a lower oath of office. You couldn't have brought charges with that lower oath of office. And again, America, I guess we're supposed to just let that slide, right? Isn't that overthrowing in a legal way? You're trying to throw the front runner, the person who is slated to be the next president of the United States, in fucking prison on trumped up fucking charges in the first place. We're supposed to let that slide, I guess, so. Okay. But I do agree with this man here because I've been saying it for a long time. You all got rid of Santos because of allegations that he spent money on an OnlyFans account, yet you let Menendez stay in the Senate. This dude was caught with gold bars in his pocket. He's doing 11 years now. You let Menendez stay in office while all this was going the fuck down. But yet George Santos spent a little bit of campaign money on an OnlyFans account, and you ejected him from Congress. Tell me how any of this makes sense. Tell me why we should let these people just spend our money willy-nilly on some made-up, fucked-up bullshit because they're still trying to commit sedition against this fucking government. It doesn't make sense to me, guys. It doesn't make sense to me. Let's see. Oh, we got this. We got 20 minutes till the Rumble cut. We might go a little bit short tonight. I don't know. We'll see how we get there. But we got this, ladies and gentlemen. Take a listen. Just enjoy. I will say, this girl right here just pop, lock, and drop real quick. Watch that. Watch her come around that corner again. Oh, she's already down. Here we go. Right around here. Look, watch her. Stop. Drop. She thought she was still in the club. Why do I show you that, ladies and gentlemen? DEA says it arrested 114 immigrants in the U.S. illegally were arrested at a Colorado nightclub. Oh, this gets wild. This gets wild, ladies and gentlemen. The Drug Enforcement Administration says a raid carried out with other law enforcement agencies in Colorado Springs on Sunday led to the capture of more than 100 immigrants who were in the United States illegally. The DEA's Rocky Mountain Division said in an expose that 114 immigrants were arrested and placed on buses for processing and likely eventual deportation. The DEA said in a separate post earlier that the day the multi-agency enforcement operation at an underground nightclub early on Sunday had also resulted in the seizure of drugs and weapons. Get out of here. The raid appears to be one of the largest single-day arrests of people without legal status since Trump was inaugurated in January, with a promise to conduct mass deportations. The video posted online by the DEA showed an agent bashing through a glass window in the front of blah, blah, blah. We saw all that. But this gets wild, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently, they were just buying, like, it was a bordello, drug stash house, / nightclub, / sanctuary. I don't fucking know how you would even describe that. Let's throw it to the Attorney General, I guess.
Meanwhile, I'm here at the White House as President Trump is going to mark 100 days in office tomorrow. Today, he is highlighting his border agenda. Attorney General Pam Bondi is here now, and she has everything to do with the video you just saw in Colorado Springs. Ms. Attorney General, thanks so much for seeing me. My first time seeing you since you got the job. Congratulations. Thank you. Tell us what you were thinking about when we were watching that video seconds ago.
America is safer tonight thanks to Donald Trump. Last night, Brian, what they did, to back up, during the Biden administration, they received 170 911 calls to that club alone. That club we were just watching, 170 calls. Wouldn't you think that would have been a red flag? Nothing happened. Guns, shootings, ag batteries, nothing happened. So under Donald Trump, DEA, FBI, U.S. Marshals, ATF, ICE, everyone went in together. DEA led this investigation, went in, got 115 illegal immigrants, aliens in our country, arrested them.
Fuck is that?
2 with warrants, 12 guns seized. So what would happen in this club is you would go in, security would give you a menu of drugs. Cocaine, there's something new called pink cocaine, meth, you could go in a bathroom stall, get that. There was prostitution, all these things going on. And we just now identified a member of Sinaloa cartel was also in there.
So that's interesting because it's not a sanctuary city, right?
No.
Denver is. But Colorado Springs isn't. You look at this for the longest time. What is the downside of raiding that club during the Biden years? Like, what's the negative side of it? Do you prefer illegal drug use and illegal aliens?
And prostitution and the violence and the shootings and the guns that was happening in that club, and no one did anything after 170 911 calls. Yet President Trump immediately, that was a really dangerous operation too, and that's why there were 300 agents all working hand in hand, and that's what Donald Trump has done so well. All of our agencies work so well together. Went in there, got these bad guys out, 115 arrests, 12 guns off the streets, lots of drugs off the streets now, less prostitution as a result of it.
It's so interesting. I know Kellyanne.
If that's prostitution, that looks like a ladyboy. That is a ladyboy. What is happening? Colorado Springs, let me know. What the fuck? You're not even a sanctuary city. It's a pleat over effect. I get it. That's what it really is. Ladies and gentlemen, I think Colorado Springs was one of those cities where Tren de Aragua took over apartment complexes. Like the last time I heard, we had that little audio leak with a dude that was trying to bribe Kerry Lake to get out of running. And in there, he said, I heard the cartels are working in all 50 states. And then it was like almost a year after that, cartels started popping up, taking over neighborhoods. Last time I heard it was in 17. ICE just raided Nashville, where Tren de Aragua actually did try to take over an apartment complex. They're fucking working. Now, I will state this, Bondi, you did fuck up the Epstein shit. All you had to say was, hey, this is all I can muster right now. The FBI isn't giving up what they have. And they're probably shredding the shit right now, but cool. Hey, all this does is just tell you those leaks were actually true. That's all you had to say, and everybody would have been like, okay, cool. That's how we're going to handle this shit. And it wouldn't have been on you. It wouldn't have looked bad. But parading the social media people around with the binders, yeah, you fucked that one up. You realize that, right? You fucked that hard. There was no lube with that one. And there was no reason for it either. All you had to do was just tell us the damn truth. But anyway.
We did a great job focusing on fentanyl when it started emerging as the plague that's killed our country and so many young people in the first term. But you guys have really amped it up working with border security. In terms of fentanyl, taking it off the streets, do you have a number there?
Yeah, Brian, when I was state AG, I actually worked with Kellyanne when she was in the White House on this because the fentanyl was just emerging on the market. And yes, now since Donald Trump has been in office, DEA has seized.
Jennifer, thank you for the $10 dono. Great show, Senpai. You're doing great. I appreciate it. I can do this. I don't have to bounce off anybody. I do it all the time. I'm just being a dick tonight. I know. What up, Link?
Over 21 million fentanyl pills. That's 21 million lives saved, in my opinion, off the streets.
No doubt about it. We also know, too, at the cusp of all the tariffs is getting China to stop sending the precursors to Mexico. If China would actually act responsibly, that would help your job a lot. It wouldn't even get to you, hopefully. So let's talk about what's going on with these judges. The sensational video last week of having to arrest a judge, and now we have another judge reportedly in Wisconsin boycotting their courtroom or threatening to unless this judge is released. Tell me about this.
Sure. Well, the judge, her last name is Dugan. She is
I don't
in
know
Milwaukee.
If there were cops in there
and
or not.
what she did to set the stage for that, there was a domestic violence case. pending. This defendant was charged with pummeling a man in the face 30 times. That's like an MMA fight. He fell to the ground. He had strangled him.
Y'all have
then
fun.
he punched a woman with a closed fist so hard in the face that she
Keep
fell
them-
to the ground. Both victims went to the hospital.
Keep them claws
and
sharp.
domestic violence cases, it's hard enough to get a victim to cooperate. Both victims were sitting in that courtroom wanting justice with a state prosecutor. Court goes on. All of a sudden, the case isn't on the docket. Defendant's nowhere to be found. They found out that the judge learned that ICE was outside because he was an illegal alien from Mexico to arrest him, to deport him. She found that out. She raised her voice with the ICE, told them to go see the chief judge, came back in. While court was going on, she motioned for the defense attorney and the defendant to come up, snuck them out through a private chamber. You can't make this up. In
Yeah,
her courtroom,
that happened.
snuck them out a back
That
exit
happened.
so he could run down the street. ICE ended up chasing him down the street. Someone saw him, chased him, caught him eventually. But, the reason ICE, they make arrests in courtrooms all the time is because it's safe. A defendant has gone through security. They don't have a weapon. It's an easy arrest. No one's injured. But because she did this, she jeopardized the lives of law enforcement officers, even the defendant. By doing this, they had to have a chase down the street while victims of a crime were sitting in a courtroom.
Judge in jail?
Judge got arrested. She sure did.
So David Brooks, you know him, the columnist for the New York Times, who on PBS over the weekend said that the judge acted heroic.
Well,
what do you say to that?
I say the victims of crime should be very happy today because these victims of crime, they deserve justice. This is a criminal judge sitting on a criminal bench. And anyone who's going to let any criminal defendant out a back door is absurd.
How much harder is your job in these sanctuary cities?
It's difficult, but we have Tom Homan, we have HSI, we have incredible partners working with us to get in there. And, state law enforcement, Brian, they want to do their jobs, most of them. Their hands have just been tied.
It's going to have to go right up the court ladder.
It sure is, and that's what we're doing.
Right, and busy day, especially they salute today is about border security and security in the country as you look back at 100 days. And you hope, of course, the best is yet to come.
That's right.
Attorney General, thanks so much.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmer.
And I don't care who you are. But what I will say this administration, ladies and gentlemen, catch up. Catch up with it. Oh, the chats. Let me see if I can fix that real quick. Ah, there we go. Cool. But yeah, this administration is actually doing something to get these illegals out of here. But I'm going to tell you this whole give them $1,000 to get them out kind of thing. They self-deport and you give them $1,000. Look, I don't care. All right. We paid for them to make the trek here. We paid for them to illegally enter this country. We paid for them to live, to eat, to have every luxury in life that you struggle with right now. We paid for them to live in luxury in New York City while the people in New York City paid $2,000 for a broom closet. We paid for that. We saw it happen. Look what it did to Chicago. Get them the hell out. Get them out. But I don't want to spend any more money anymore other than getting them the fuck out. I don't want to spend... Look, okay, it's supposed to save money in the long run. Cool. You're also talking about people who are going to come to this country illegally to say I'm here illegally for $1,000 fucking dollars, and then they're going to leave. They're going to do it again. If they want to self-deport, there should be the only thing that they get from it is being able to come back legally. I'm okay with that. It was Biden that told you to get over here and fuck everybody else. Hell, you don't know our way of life. You don't know how we function. So you come into a country where every toilet flushes, every light turns on, and they give you money to live there. Fuck yeah, I get you. However, in our system, They like to use us as pawns because we're nothing but a bank account to them. Okay? So it's nothing personal. Okay, it is personal. It's everything personal when we tell you to get the fuck out because you're not supposed to be here in the first place. It's not racist. There's nothing about it that you consider racist, sexist, xenophobic, transphobic, whatever the fuck you want to throw around. There's nothing about that. Especially when you got cartels that are trafficking people, including children, all across this country and elsewhere outside of this country that came through the border illegally. Our government is funding human trafficking. And we just, it's cool, whatever. Just let it roll, right? Let it ride. You wonder why Trinidad was taking over apartment complexes and MS-13's really waging war with police out there on the fucking street. You wonder how that happens. And then if you say anything about it, well, now you're a far-right extremist. And you don't care. And you're just a Nazi bigot. Because you care about, hey, maybe my neighborhood should be as comfortable as it was before the motherfucker started kicking in doors. Maybe do that a little bit, get that back to that, and then maybe we can talk about from there. But doing that, ladies and gentlemen, you are a fucking white supremacist. I can't. I won't. But what I will do right here is I'm going to give YouTube the link. Y'all know what time it is. We got 3 minutes, and we couldn't rumble. Oh, I got to hit it manually here.
You're never gonna make it, you're not good enough. There's a million other people with the same stuff. You really think you're different, man, you must be kidding. Think you're gonna hit it, but you just don't get it. It's impossible, it's not probable, you're irresponsible. Too many obstacles, you gotta stop it, yo. You gotta take it slow, you can't be a pro, don't waste your time no more. Who the fuck are you to tell me what to do? I don't give a damn if you say you disapprove. I'm gonna make my move, I'm gonna make it soon. And I'll do it cause it's what I wanna fucking do. Cause all these opinions and all these positions, they come in millions, they blocking your vision. But no, you can't listen, that shit is all fiction. Cause you hold the power as long as you're dreaming. There's no way that you make it, and maybe you can fake it, but you're never gonna make it. Aren't you just gonna take that? Make them take it all back. Don't tell me you believe that. Aren't you just gonna take that? Or will you fucking fight back? Fucking fight back. You ain't gonna make it, you ain't never ever gonna break it. You can never beat them and they're better than you face it. Thinking that they give a damn, you're not thinking straight, kid. No, they don't give a damn, you got what I'm saying? I'm not fucking playing, I'll give it to you straight, man. There's too many others and you're not that great, man. Stop what you're saying, stop what you're making. Everybody here knows that you just faking. Nah, I don't wanna hear it anymore, I don't wanna hear it anymore. All these fucking thoughts, they are not what I need anymore. I'm about to shut them